Dan who? Dan double U. Let's go. Ow, wow, listen right now. Everybody knows the man that says pow. Start the show, gonna talk some toys. This is for the grown-up girls and boys making noise. Let's start the show. Talking Marvel Legends and the money that we blow. Honestly, look, there ain't no stopping me. Turtles and Joes too, let's do this properly. Need to buy more toys, don't tell my bank. Wasn't me, promise it was Hellfire Hank. Whole crew, look, they made me do it. If it lands at my door, then I best review it. Screw it, I don't usually boast, but I got Rich M, he's here to host. Raise a toast and raise some ducks. This isn't your average show, we're deluxe. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews, as always. My name is Dan W. Make sure you will follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And happy Thursday to my British friends. And happy Thanksgiving to my American friends. I believe it is Thanksgiving Day today, where you guys basically have a Christmas dinner early, you greedy bastards. So you have a Christmas dinner again at Christmas, don't you? You just like turkey. That's all that is. What am I thankful for? I am thankful for my co-host, which is, of course, displayed once, a.k.a. Rich M. Rich, how you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good. You all right?
I'm all good, my friend. What are you thankful for?
I am thankful for this show, for everyone watching at home.
That is so sweet. That is so sweet. I'm thankful.
And even for people down the well. Even thankful for people down the well this week.
Sending our love down the well, all the way down. Right, I love a Simpsons reference. How are we doing, everybody? You can tell. Oh, I've just got there's a fly in my room. Damn, I'm gonna have to deal with him right at the start of the show.
Is it a fly or is it a bee, Dan?
Do you know what? Bees have... I'm not even joking.
I know, I remember.
Bees have infested this loft before, and I swear there was like a nest or something in this loft. So I've like taped up all my lighting so it doesn't crawl through. So I'm like, now I'm panicky, like, what is that? Right at the start of the show as well. You bastard. You knew I was starting a stream live on YouTube, didn't you? Right. What was I saying? Anyway, today's title isn't about me chasing a fly. It is about xmen. We have been talking and speculating about what 2024 has to bring to the Marvel Legends line, as we literally have a month left of 2023 and it's all over. Good riddance, so long. We are moving into next year. We're all about what is to come, and in recent weeks we've been talking about Iron Man. This week we want to speculate about what xmen are coming, because we do think that the clues are out there. Again, me and Rich, we do speculate based off what information is out there officially. There's always leak lists and stuff, but we try and have some fun and just enjoy speculating. So that's what we're going to do today. But before we do that and break down what xmen may or may not be coming in 2024, let's say hello to the chat. So if you're in the chat, please say hello, make yourself known, and I will come to you just after I do the housekeeping. I used to do these shows on the channel called Joes and Juice and Turtles and Tea. They will be back in December, I promise you. I promise. They will be back for our yearly roundup, our top 10 Joes and our top 10 Turtles. They will be happening. I promise Tom, Mark, and Tanner in December. Absolutely, they will be back.
You told me you were rebooting now with new co-host. Now what are you doing?
Don't say that. Don't say that. Yeah. Auditions coming soon. No, I'm joking. Absolutely fine. No Legends and Liquor this weekend. I've got the weekend off to work on my empty room, but the carpet is down. Very important. Go and check out my last video to see the update. So yes, lots of long form content on the channel. Please do support, because I haven't been reviewing a lot this month, let's be honest. If you want to contribute, you can do so. Anything over £4 or $4, Friday, we'll read it out loud. Be a part of the show as well as contributing to the show. I will be thankful to you on this Thanksgiving for that contribution. Thank you very much. I just think I made up a word, but that's fine. Hit that join button as well. Hit the join button. That's what it's all about. Become a part of the community that we're building on the channel. Again, you become a part of the channel join button, you can actually be on the channel. It is so simple. Legends and Liquor, the inner circle, lots of fun, lots of nonsense, and lots of toy talk. That is what it's all about. Right, let's I do want to start off hot here by just saying I know it's Thanksgiving, so tomorrow is officially Black Friday, where all the sales are everywhere. So I wanted to get involved in that in my own small way. So I thought I'd try my best to do a little exclusive discount code for my store. Now, you know I love plugging on this channel, but I don't plug my store too much. Rich is very kindly modelling one of the t-shirts for me, designed by Mini Plastic Multiverse, one of the co-hosts of Joe's and Juice. You may know his name. He designed the retro Dan Who Hellfire Hank inspired t-shirt, and I am hoping moving forward I can add some new design. I haven't really added any new designs in like a year. It has been the logos and the Hellfire Hank t-shirt, but I'm hoping next year I make more of a conscious effort to add some more design. So of course go and get your Turtles and Team mug. I think I've got to add something Legend and Liquor wise as well next year. But lots of t-shirts on there, lots of different colours, lots of sizes as well. Plenty of sizes. You will find your sizes, no stress at all. But yeah, use the discount code I have attached in the live chat right now. Hellfire Hank has gave it me exclusively for the viewers of the live stream. It is Hank20 for 20% off. All right, enjoy yourself. That lasts, I think, for November. So get them hot. I appreciate it. I always enjoy seeing people on Legend of the Cat wearing those t-shirts, so I appreciate it. So let me say hello to people in the chat right now. Who is here live with us? Of course, Mark Tack is in nice and early. So is Blake, a name that I cannot pronounce, but he says, I am so excited to see the new Legend figures of X-Men. Hope to be good. Pete, Little Leaf Creations says, happy Thursday, peeps. Lady Mac said, happy Thanksgiving to all who are celebrating. Hope everyone has a great week so far. Paul McCarthy retracted his message because he didn't want to wish anyone Thanksgiving because he's just not in the mood. He's just not in the mood for it today, clearly. Jay's Toys Collection UK says, evening all. We got your boys got tools. Toys gets a happy Thanksgiving. Compulsive Collector with the Hellfire Hanks. No, Paul does say something.
Fuck you, Compulsive Collector. Fuck you.
Is that because of the Kitty Pryde?
He should buy one of these t-shirts. That's what he should buy.
That's true. It would be better than a Kitty Pryde t-shirt. I will agree with that. Let me take a sip.
I like came into that chat when I was up with Phil Jones as well, and I wrote a much ruder comment that YouTube censored and didn't post because I went back and watched it, and it only says like always watching, but I put a whole thing before that, like
the algorithm got you, unfortunately. Chi collects. Mikey Moonboots, Hobby, Crescent Blue Zero says hi. Craig's Nostalgic Collection, Pixels and Plastic. Jason Lopez, the retweeting king. Scotty C. Is it Scotty C's birthday today? Right, it's Scotty C's birthday today. Happy birthday, Scotty C.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Glad you are joining us this Thursday evening. He's the right side of 30, so don't feel bad for him. He's a good age. Happy birthday, Scotty C. Curtis Randalls, a.k.a. Mangled Levers. I think that's how you say it. He says, I thought I'd be missing the beginning. No, we're always late. 8 o'clock is just... It's just a suggested start time. It's just a suggested start time. We'll be starting at some point around 8 o'clock, all right? So you'll be fine. Just get here at 8. Put the kettle on. We'll be here by the time you've made your tea. You're fine. Robert's around. David, Evan, and Smith. All three of them. When we get the triple power for it as well. Arvin, Rush, Cheeky Monkey, Kiara, Christopher Allen, Phil Jones, the guy you were out drinking with last weekend. Ginger Vitus says, yo, happy Turkey Day. Let's talk some X-Men. You think Exodus likes turkey? How about another feathered angel? To be fair, I'm going to shut up because we may be talking about some of them today. Nathan as well. Big M. Shane Shooter. Compulsive Collector is laughing at Rich M. And JC Shaw says, will it be a retro wave or a modern comic era wave? Well, let's discuss, shall we? Let's just get straight into talking about some X-Men. So let me jump back to this. So why are we talking X-Men today? What has spurred on this particular topic? Well, it's quite
You
easy.
told me that we couldn't talk about Girls Aloud. You said, shut up, stop sending me messages about Girls Aloud.
I told you, I've been a fan since Sound of the Underground. One of my friends actually used to go out with Cheryl Tweedy before she was famous. So like, that is Girls Aloud, right? Cheryl Tweedy.
Yeah,
I'm right. Yeah, what am I talking about?
Big fan you are.
No, I got confused. I thought I was overthinking it then, but no, I was completely right. I was bang on. And what was the other group was on Tree Voice? That was that was like
it was like Pop Stars the Rivals. It was the boys versus the girls. Yeah, you got it right.
That out of God knows where. I like, why do I know this? But I knew it. Anyway, no one knows what we're talking about. Let's continue talking about X-Men, stuff that people know we're talking about. Right, so why are we talking X-Men? Let me go to this screen for a second and I'll show you. So, Entertainment Earth have a page where they like to tell you what's coming, some pre-order dates, etc., etc. And occasionally they will drop a little hint to what Hasbro Marvel Legends may be giving us, and they have done exactly that. So, like always, we like to always read into these things, probably more than we should, but let's have a little look. But again, it's for the sake of conversation. It's fine. It's what we like to do. So let's have a go through here. So every Hasbro one isn't always about Marvel Legends, by the way. Sometimes it could be about one of the other brands, Star Wars. Sometimes it's the kiddie brands as well. It's just some pre-order is coming, but some of them are relevant to us. Firstly, we're just going to bring attention to the one on Thursday, December 7th. Says happy anniversary, but who is having an anniversary? Is it me? Shoot. I better set up a reminder to find out and not start a fight or anything. Okay, so who is having an anniversary next year? It could be Wolverine's 50th anniversary. And also, we know that Hasbro Marvel Legends will have one more live stream before the year is out. They always have one more where Ryan, Dan and Dwight do that sort of draft thing where they both all pick us their favourites of the year, as well as giving us some reveals. So we will absolutely see another Marvel Legends live stream before the year is out. Maybe that first week of December to line up with this pre-order date. Maybe that pre-order is something to do with Wolverine, which we know is going to be the spring sort of... well, we don't know for sure, but we're all making educated guesses. It's going to be the spring sort of releases. So anyway, we're acknowledging that Wolverine is an X-Men, so we definitely want to mention it. But that's not what we want to talk about today. Let's keep going down. Let's keep going down a little bit further. Because the year is not over yet, and there's going to be some more pre-orders. So let me keep going. Look at that. So, okay. So here it is. Is this the right one, Rich, right? The December 15th.
Yeah, that's the one.
Cool, right. So it says, your Marvel at these new figures, if you sign up for a reminder, suit up and get ready for an out-of-this-world launch, or maybe just a fancy night out. Who knows? You'll need to sign up and find out. So, the clue is it's about Marvel, first and foremost. It's Hasbro as well. So clearly, probably Marvel Legends. Friday the 15th of December, there could potentially, or there will, be another pre-order for Marvel Legends. But what is it going to be? So where did your brain first go, Rich, when you seen this clue and suit up? Because it may allude to something we've already spoken about.
So, suit up, the obvious answer is the Marvel hero who suits up is Iron Man. So, Iron Man Retro Wave. But the other clues don't kind of tie into Iron Man as much.
Agreed. It's because, as much as we know Tony likes to have a drink like we do,
he's alcoholic, Dad.
I know. Sorry, I'm keep burping now. I just guzzled mine. It says a fancy night out. And we're like, okay. Who else in recent Marvel sort of time have suited up for a night out? The X-Men, maybe? Isn't there some fancy event going on now, yearly, this new annual thing where people get dressed up and go out? What am I referring to, Rich?
That would be the Hellfire Gala.
Hellfire Gala. Is this that yearly event where Hellfire Hank hosts, like the Great Gatsby of the Marvel Universe, if you will, where Hellfire Hank wears a like a tuxedo and invites all the Marvel characters to his mansion in Krakoa, and they have a party? That's what I'm talking about, right?
It's a shame you're not writing Marvel comic books, Dan, but unfortunately, Hellfire Hank has yet to appear in the comic book of Marvel Universe Hellfire Galas.
I keep forgetting he's not a canon character. My bad.
So the Hellfire Galas are like this annual event from the Krakoan Age of X-Men, so spinning out of like House of X. Like every year, there's a yearly event where they announce the new team of X-Men, and then some big event happens. So in the first year was 2021. So up until that point, there hadn't been an official X-Men team. So the gala was to announce the first official X-Men team led by Cyclops and Jean Grey of the Krakoan era. And then also the mutants terraformed Mars in that first year. So it kind of leads to that like out of this world hint type of thing that's got in there. Then the second year, the second event, it announced then the second team of X-Men. And it was also where the mutants... So in House of X, if you haven't read it, mutants can now resurrect themselves. So they're like immortality is now a thing. No one's ever got to die. All the mutants who ever died can be brought back. But no one knew that apart from the mutants. The wider Marvel Universe didn't know. And then that was revealed in that event to the wider Marvel Universe. So like that secret was exposed out there. And Moira McTaggart as well was revealed to be a villain in that run as well. She kidnapped Mary Jane. Spider-Man was involved. It was a big thing. And then spun off into like Moira becoming more antagonistic towards the X-Men. Up until that, she'd been kind of working with Charles and Magneto, and she herself was a secret mutant. And then in the year just gone, they killed Jubilee, Dan. That's what they fucking did in year 3. They killed Jubilee. And who gives a shit about anything else because they did that? Fuck you, year 3.
But they can resurrect, right? She's gonna come back, right?
So there's the 5. There's the 5 mutants who can resurrect people, but at the moment, the 5 something happens at the gala, the 3rd gala, and the 5 are off the board. So at the moment, no one can be resurrected.
Okay. Well, we'll see what the future holds. But as Rich just explained, there's basically 3 years there of these Hellfire Gala events where all these Marvel characters change their costume for this particular event, and they have all this fancy gear on. But we have never had any Marvel Legends of any of these costume designs from the Hellfire Gala. But given it's been a couple of years since this event debuted in the comics, and it's quite a big deal in the X-Men world as well, we know Marvel Legends like to give us X-Men stuff, and recently Hasbro have been pretty good at giving us like recent figures in comics, like Hallows Eve is a recent one, and Chasm, for example. So that gives Hasbro plenty of opportunity now to have developed and designed one of these character designs. So what we thought would be fun today, top 10 style if you will, is go through some of these X-Men Hellfire Gala costume designs and just talk about if they'd make a good Marvel Legend. So Rich, as you do, you always do an amazing job with the graphics. How have you done the top 10 today? From the least likely to the most likely, is that what you've said?
Yeah, so it's the least likely to the most likely top 10. And then after that, we've got 5 X-Men figures that have been like really relevant in modern times that have never had a figure. So we've got the top 5 figures, not in the Hellfire look, but just figures that we need in general. So that's how we're going to do today's stream.
Perfect. So we're going to talk about 15 different X-Men characters today that we could potentially be getting in the future of Marvel Legends. 10 of them are going to be in their fancy Hellfire Gala costumes, and you guys in the chat can join along whether you'd like that in Legends form or not. And then 5 of them are going to be characters that could have been part of the House of X wave we got last year, or the year before actually, to accompany the Sentinel. That was the Tri-Sentinel Build-A-Figure wave, right? Where we got like the sort of main cast. So yeah, lots of X-Men to talk about today. And again, spiraling out of this little nugget, this little clue on Entertainment Earth about suiting up, fancy night out, and out of this world. If you piece it together, it does lead to the X-Men, all right? So that's what we're going to get into. And let's start off with someone who isn't an X-Men, but is relevant right now. Captain Marvel. She looks fancy. She looks like a British drummer.
Yeah, it's kind of like military kind of garb. So again, this Captain Marvel uniform, this is from the most recent Hellfire Gala. So this is the 2023 Hellfire Gala. So this one is low down the list. This is the only one from 2023 because my thinking is that 2023 is too soon for them to make those looks into action figures. I think there's a lot of better looks from 2023, but the reason that Captain Marvel is on this list, so this is a Jen Patel design that she designed for the Hellfire Gala, but this look has since been adapted slightly, and now it's her main costume in the Marvel Universe. It's the one she's got in her most recent solo series, and she's wearing in the Avengers book as well. So it's kind of like this look, it's been altered so a little bit. So instead of like the high heels, she's got boots. The arms are less fancy. She hasn't got the stars in her hair. And like the undershirt, she's got like the Captain Marvel logo t-shirt back rather than the low-cut V-neck.
Yeah, interesting. So again, because it's brand new, I'm not up to date with the comics. It's brand new to my eyes. But again, my brain just goes to, like as I said, like a military, old school sort of drummer type vibe. But I do like the colours, obviously very Captain Marvel-esque. Is this something you'd like to see in figure form if it came to be?
Yeah, but I think to do the more recent, like the slight redesign of it, putting the undershirt on it, is a better look because I think that's her look going forward. We haven't had that many Captain Marvel figures as well. We've had like the one look from ages ago. So to do that would be a good thing. But I think with the recent not as much success of the movie, maybe this is not on the card. So
Yeah.
again, this is why this is lower down. But a lot of the Hellfire Gala, which we'll get into later on, but a lot of the costumes then have since been adapted to become the main costumes in the Marvel Universe because they're really good designs. So again, this one by Jen Patel from this year has already been adapted to become Carol's main costume in the Marvel Universe in the 616. So that's why this is number 10 on our list.
Yeah, no, again, Captain Marvel is very relevant. Again, maybe for the wrong reasons right now in pop culture, of course. We've both seen the movie now, right? So people in the chat can't spoil it for us anymore. But we'll save our thoughts for that for a different day. And again, please indulge us in the comments. Like we're not saying we think there's going to be a Hellfire Gala wave by any means. Me and Rich are just diving into this for the sake of a fun conversation. This isn't our predictions. This isn't even our wants. It's more of just a fun, like, okay, if they were going to do a Hellfire Gala wave, what would it look like? What characters could they pull from? So, again, just indulge us. Just a fun conversation about something we haven't ever talked about in the 168 shows we have done in the past 4 years, okay? So, if this isn't your thing, that's absolutely fine. But we're going for it, all right? So, let's go for number 9. It is Doctor Doom. Now, this one looks very interesting. Again, I know I'm going to say this from all, but they're very fancy and very regal, very royal-esque. But this one looks impressive.
Yeah, this Doctor Doom design. So this is from Russell Dauterman, and this is from year 2 from 2022, from the second Hellfire Gala. So the first Hellfire Gala was mostly a mutant affair. In the second year, they opened it up to the wider Marvel Universe. So you've got like characters getting inside. So in universe, a lot of the Avengers were designed by Janet Van Dyne, because obviously she designs clothes. And then Jumbo Carnation designed a lot of the X-Men's outfits. He's like Emma Frost Taylor, does all the like outfits and stuff like that. But obviously Doom is like an emperor himself. I'm sure he had his own people design this.
He's got his own Latveria team helping him out.
And it's just like this big, like it's the Doom look, but just like extra, like fancier. Like this big hooded cloak with like woolly green thing, like all this like regal, like he's got a sash, like as if he's like a European king or something like that. But it still looks like Doom. It's still like you've got like the mask, which is like angular, metallic,
like
but it's still
like vibe, doesn't it?
Yeah,
mask, like very diamond like. I like the gold and green as well. It looks really good, and it's still got the elements that are on the classic Doom costume with the big discs and chain across the chest. And I just think it looks really cool. Again, would Legends be able to do this? Probably not, with all the soft goods and stuff. But again, we're just having a fun conversation here. We're just daydreaming. Go along with us here. But this would make a pretty cool action figure at the 1/12 scale if it was done properly. There's no doubt in that. Everyone always likes to pose up their Doctor Doom like on a throne or next to a throne or something like that. So you can imagine this guy like standing front and center with a throne diorama behind him or something like that. He would look epic. So I do really like this one. The chat seems to like this one as well. Hit so far from Mikey Moonboots, Jason, Little Leaf Creations. Chi collects us. This is an awesome looking Doom. So there's Paul says Doom looks fire. Absolutely. Looks very, again, all of these are going to look very posh and regal. But Doom, being the leader of his own nation as it is, does look very cool as well. So there you go. And also shout out Rich for the Cyclops Dan update. Oh, look, who am I holding? I didn't even realise that. I'm holding Omega Sentinel and Professor X. That's pretty cool. I didn't even notice that, Rich. I like it. All right, cool. Maybe I'll get that on a t-shirt. Maybe I'll just do all your variant logos.
All the variant Dan Who's.
T-shirt. Now, this is me in black and white, essentially. Let's be honest. This is me with my mink coat on. I'm obviously a buff hench guy as well. This is Dan Who going to the Hellfire Gala. I've just been fresh from the tailors, clearly. I wish. This is Colossus. Looking pretty epic, I'm not going to lie. So where's this one from, Rich? It looks good.
So this is Colossus. This is designed by Lucas Wernick, and this is from the first Hellfire Gala. So in the first Hellfire Gala, Colossus is part of X-Force. So they kind of like the security detail of the night. So they've all got like these like black, like tuxedo kind of looks. But Colossus has become like, he's like a double agent. So he's kind of like under the control of someone else. So this kind of like gives like hints like with the way this costume looks like it's kind of villainous. It's kind of like a Mr. Sinister kind of vibes going on. So it gives like hints of that. But I think it's a really good, because like in the comic books, Colossus tends to stick to like the red and the yellow, you know, the pants and the like the open vest, and that's about it. So it's hard to get a good Colossus look. And I really like the Colossus figure we got with the bearded look. I think it's a good look for Colossus.
I hope you like that bearded head too, yeah, for sure.
So this goes with that. It looks good for Colossus. He's like quite imposing as well. And I think it's fancy, but not too fancy. I think Legends could do this a bit easier than doing Doom or doing that Captain Marvel. I don't think it's got the fur lining, but you could get away with that in plastic, I suppose, type of thing.
Yeah. And again, before people in the chat jump to us and go, Hasbro would never make any of these. Look, we get it, right? It's just we're just daydreaming here. Let's imagine they've got great soft goods and all of that. It would look epic. And Craig says, I'm dreaming again. Come on now, let me just turn my head to the side a little bit. Like, oh, come on, that's me all day long. I'm clearly Colossus.
That's what he's wearing to next year's MCM, isn't it?
Paul says this is me going to Tesco weekly shop. Absolutely. Like, I just need to get myself that sort of mink, sort of hooded jacket, and I'm ready to go. Maybe this is what I'll cosplay as in the future. Absolutely, I found it. What a look. Shane says this is his favourite Colossus look. Lady Max says nice tights. Look, I've got great legs. I play football. I'm not got no problem in tights. Jay Darkside says I like he looks like a mobster. Yes, like Rich said, he's like the security detail. He's meant to look a little bit like mobster. Like don't mess with me. All right, I'm watching. I'm quiet in a distance, but I'm ready to go. And your boy's got toys right on cue. Hasbro would never make any of these. And of course, your boy's got toys. Alexi speaks for everybody. Everybody in the chat. He's the sole voice of the community. Remember that, okay?
But when Mafex make them, he'd be buying them all, wouldn't he?
Of course he would. Of course he would. Mafex shill. Okay, very international male says cute, cool. Yeah, look, I like this one. What can I say? Next up, Storm. Now, her outfit is always inspired by the weather. And I think I've seen a few of her recent ones as well. Is this year one?
Yeah, this is year one. So this is Russell Dauterman. And this is like, so basically in year one, Storm is one of the mutants who goes and helps terraform Mars. So it's make it habitable for other mutants. And obviously this costume is kind of like her hair is a cloud, and then her cape is like the storm raging behind her. Yeah. So it's like, and this look does, like we said about Captain Marvel earlier, this becomes a costume as well for a little bit of X-Men Red, but then she gets like an even better costume than this one. And that's the thing, in the Krakoan era, Storm has had a lot of good costumes, so that's why this is quite low down on the list. I think it would be hard to do with the clouds, but then they did adapt it when she wore it as a normal costume into just normal hair. But this would look amazing. I just don't know how they would pull it off because it's very arty, like the comic page.
Hasbro could absolutely give you this. What they'd do is actually give you a little cloud in the box. So when you open the box, the cloud comes out. And you just have to put it on your figure and just keep the temperature of your room certain. Hasbro can just give you a cloud. It's fine. They can figure it out.
Or they could just put the power effect from like the spiral power effect in, and that's what you get in. Hey.
Or just some cotton wool. Just get yourself a bag of cotton wool, some black paint. Look, customizers out there, I have no doubts would be able to do a sick job at this. Like, obviously in figure form, very unlikely, but still, just even without the big cloud, like you said, just give her a couple of fancy hairstyles and just the black and gold outfit. Storm always looks great anyway. So yeah.
There is a lot of customs out there. So if you go and look on like Instagram or YouTube, they are amazing customs of the Hellfire Gala looks. And as well, cosplayers like MCM, like we saw a Rogue, we saw a Polaris, we saw a Storm in this look as well. Like there was loads of people cosplaying from that thing. So I think like they're recognizable looks like beyond just the X-Men fans. I think like a lot of fans have like latched on to them and like do their own interpretations on that kind of thing.
She's so iconic. Like, even though this is a brand new character design, you could show people that are familiar to Marvel this, and they'll be able to tell you it's Storm. Obviously, she's standing in a blue cloud, but still, she's iconic. I really like this one. All right, next up. Spider-Man. Again, Spider-Man's not an X-Men. Rich, what's going on? When did Spider-Man get an invite to the Hellfire Gala?
So this Spider-Man look is from year 2. So this is a Russell Dauterman look as well. So I know you think, yeah, Spider-Man, X-Men, what's got to do with this? But, like, what did we get from when they did the Midnight Suns video game? Who did we get a figure of?
Iron Man.
Yeah, so they like doing these like the big characters, the main characters to help sell a wave because like the last announced Spider-Man wave, we had that Spider Shot and End Time Spider-Man, which are like
Yeah.
looks from like one comic book type of
Yeah,
thing. So even
obscure
though,
designs, obscure
yeah,
costume designs, yeah.
but under this mask, it is Peter, so it is another costume for people who just want to like build out the Spider-Man displays, and it's quite like like a psychedelic, funky look for Spider-Man. I don't know how they do like the glowing neon lights on it, but it would look good on like the Spider-Man base. But they have to give him all his hands. That's what they have to do.
Of course, of course. Look at the red on his hands as well. Ryan Ting's not going to be happy with the cost of them hands. Look at them. We're going to get 1.5 hands if we're lucky. But no, like Rich said, like look, we all know how Hasbro play the game. They like to give us the A-list characters again and again and again. And Spider-Man sells. It is what it is. You can release Spider-Man in any format, and there's going to be a section of the community that like to add these different Spider-Man costume designs to their forever growing Spider-Verse. So it's like fair game. So yeah, if there's a way to fudge a Spider-Man, like a canon Spider-Man costume design into a wave, then why not? Like this would make an epic action figure, and yeah, like Rich said, the glowable aspect obviously maybe not, but just the design as itself, like with a black costume with a red half a spider, maybe they could do the purple. I don't want to say the word cell shading, but you know what I mean. There's ways they could at least give tribute to this costume design in plastic, and Spider-Man sells. What can I say? It would make a cool looking figure, that's for sure. And
like J Darkseid in the chat says, proof for this is Chasm. I mean, that's like a recent redesign of Ben Reilly, and they got that out there, even in a wave with another Ben Reilly. So
exactly. So even though we're talking about X-Men, it still works. You can still get these characters in there, and it's canon. He was at the Hellfire Gala, people. There he is, wearing his fancy costume, and it's Spider-Man. Of course, Hasbro love Spider-Man, so there's a possibility of this one. That's why it's higher on the list than characters like Storm and Colossus, because it's probably easier to do as well than those other looks. Like there's no soft goods involved. It's just the body. Yeah, this one's likely. This one seems likely. So yeah, I'd buy it, but I'm a sucker, so don't listen to me. Next up, this is one that I think people would like. When it comes to the Hellfire Gala, Rich, as I said, like I am not up to date with current comics. Like I started reading House of X, but I'm not all the way through it or anything like that. But just from like the zeitgeist of being in this sort of Marvel world and toys and stuff like that, I see this costume design for Emma Frost loads. So is this like one of the main looks for Emma in the Hellfire Gala? I am assuming this is maybe year 1 as well. Like,
so yeah, this is year 2. This is
okay.
Emma's look for year 2. So this is a Megan hat trick design. And again, like Emma is like key. She organizes the Hellfire Gala. She is like the White Queen of the Hellfire Club still. So obviously she takes like center stage. And in the second year, this kind of like, so the secret has been revealed. That's why she's got the paper. The Daily Bugle have revealed that the X-Men have got immortality, but it's Cyclops reveals it. Emma Frost didn't know it was happening. The first time she sees it is she finds out in the paper. So she is like pissed off because she's done this big event to like celebrate the next generation of X-Men, and that's all people want to talk about is immortality. They don't want to talk about the Hellfire Gala. They just want to find out what the secret is, how they can get it. So she's like pissed off at Scott. There's stuff going in the background with Magneto and Charles and Moira, so she's pissed off with them as well. So Emma is kind of like center stage at the second one. I mean, the first one, she's center stage as well. But this is like a really good look. Again, this is another one. Loads of cosplayers have done this look really good. Michelle Waffalo on Instagram has done an amazing look at this. She wore it to SDCC, I think. And it's just like, oh, it's such an awesome cosplay of this. Everything, like her hair, stance, everything is like brilliant. But this would be a cracking figure. Again, though, it's got a bit of boobage in it. So we don't know if Hasbro might make those straps a bit longer. But it is a good look. And it is quintessential X-Men. Like, it mixes up, like, all the classic, like the white bodysuit, like the Generation X, like dominatrix kind of look, to like more like the Frank Quitely with all the cutouts. It's just a really great look for Emma. And I think even if you haven't read the Hellfire Gala, it still looks like an Emma Frost figure.
She's still recognisable, absolutely. I do think of quite a lot of the characters, actually, even though they're in these fancier costumes. X-Men fans can still tell who's who, but Emma more so than most. And yeah, this again, like this is the one that's in my sort of zeitgeist as a Hellfire Gala Emma. And this is a doable figure as well. Like you said, we know Hasbro are not a big fan of boobage, but this costume design, I think, covers just enough. They could probably get the pattern to work, or give us an exclusive. Remember, we did get a Hellfire box set a couple of years ago, so maybe we could get a Hellfire Gala box set in the future with just a couple of these more fancier costumes where they could actually put the effort in to doing them justice. And we've definitely already got a little Daily Bugle accessory before, so there's no reason we couldn't get this, Rich. We've actually got little pieces of paper. Who did we get the little pieces of paper with? It's one of the X-Men retro cards.
Did we get Mary Jane and that was a rolled up one, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we've got a little plastic rolled up one, but a character, a Marvel legend, someone in the chat tell me, because I know I'm not dreaming this, came with an actual like piece of the paper that you could roll up yourself, obviously, but I can't remember who it was, but it was definitely probably a retro card.
Not J. Jonah?
It could have been. Again, my brain can't piece who it is, but my point is, we could have even that accessory. If you wanted to, it could work. Or if you've got a printer at home with black and white ink, you could probably print one yourself. Don't even need Hasbro, but they'd probably do a better job at making the figure than I would anyway. So yeah, I'd love to see this one in figure design. You could have because there's been so many different looks for Emma as well. You could have a box set of fucking Emma Frost at this point with all the different looks, and I think this for a more modern take on Emma Frost as well. I think this one will be very popular, but. We know there's more, and there may be more to come. But here's one for Emma, and the chat are liking this one, and everyone's telling me J. Jonah. So I'm not. Yeah, we were bang on. You were right. You were right. I knew I weren't making it up, as long as I know I weren't daydreaming. Yes, Jason in the chat is alluding to what I'm talking about. But maybe we'll come back to Emma. Maybe we'll come back to her. Next up, let's go to the person that I am cosplaying as down at the bottom. It is again another very recognisable character in his Hellfire Gala outfit. But how could he not wear his ruby quartz? Otherwise, he'd just be blasting everybody. It is, of course, Cyclops. Again, another doable action figure. He has a very X-Man inspired look here, don't you think, Rich?
Yeah, it looks like it gets all the elements from Cyclops' look, and it looks quite like militaristic as well, but like futuristic, I think, type of thing. And I think this is doable. So this is not on the list because I think it is the greatest of all redesigns. This is a Russell Dortmund design, but more like this is from the first Hellfire Gala. And again, Scott leads that first team, the first official X-Men team of the Krakoan era. So obviously with Jean Grey and him, they are like quintessential to that first Hellfire Gala. So that's why I think we could get Scott. And I don't think it's too much of a stretch to do this costume as a Marvel legend. It's not as fancy or as intricate as some of the other designs. So I think they could pretty much do a good version of this.
Yeah, and again, reminder that this list we're doing today isn't like which ones we would like to see the most. Rich is doing it in a way of which ones are probably more likely to be seen. So as we move down this list, the designs may be less flamboyant, but that's because we think they're more likely to be recreated in plastic, and I think he's bang on with this one.
Yeah, if we had done a list of like the most wanted ones, it would have just been like 3 Monets, 3 Jubilees, and then maybe some other people.
Yeah, for sure.
No Kitty Pryde, no Kitty Pryde.
Compulsive collector's not happy. But yeah, this one's doable. As I said, like I say X-Man because it's a very similar sort of body shape and design that we've already had in figure form. So yeah, Hasbro could easily do this one. I think not a problem at all. And it's Cyclops again, another A-list tier X-Men character that they're never afraid to give us in any form. So yeah, I can see this one being likely as well. But he'd need someone to go with him. I still think he'd need someone to go with him. Maybe we'll get there. Scarlet Witch. She's a mutant. Again, Scarlet Witch is hot property at the minute. And I think this costume... Again, ignore the hexy hair in the background. I do think the costume design is very doable. And we haven't got Scarlet Witch in too many different costume designs in Legends form, have we, when we think about it? We've got the All-Father Build-A-Figure wave from 2015. And then more recently we got the 3-pack, then that got repainted for the retro card. So we've had 2 sort of classic wonders. So yeah, there's no reason why Hasbro couldn't go into the WAD and give us another more modern costume design. So where did this one come from?
So this is from the second year as well. In the first Hellfire Gala, and this is not a spoiler alert because it's 3 years ago, but obviously Scarlet Witch is killed in the first Hellfire Gala, and you get like the trial of Magneto because they think that he's killed his own daughter, and then Wanda comes back. She's finally she's resurrected. She gets the mutant powers back. She redeems herself after like killing all the mutants in House of M.
No more mutants.
Yeah.
Sorry,
so she. She is now back, and this costume again. This was another one. So from the second year, this is the costume that Wanda ends up using in the Marvel universe. The headpiece is less intricate. She uses the loses, not uses. She loses like the Starfield starry effects in the background, and her hair is just more normal. But otherwise, the look is the same. So this is from like Russell Dortman, and it's kind of like classic Wanda meets like kind of like the just before Onslaught, like the look she had just before that, to like her first works costumes as well, with that like, you know, the red dress hanging down the middle. It just like mixes them all together, and it's a really good look for Wanda. I really like this look. She's currently got it in the Avengers in the main book going forward as well. And I just think they could do this one pretty good as well. And like Dan said, Wanda hasn't had enough looks. I think the George Perez look she could have, even like a classic look of all, because I think Wanda now has been elevated to be like at least A-list character due to like her portrayal in the MCU. I'd say she's probably like one of the top 5 Marvel females. But like in my Marvel Legends, she hasn't had as much love, especially comic book Wanda. So this costume would be great. Again, you could do 2 versions in one, do 2 interchangeable headpieces, and you've got Hellfire Gala and Modern. I don't think they do that, but any version with this costume would look good.
Yeah, for sure. And like Rich said, ignore the sort of mystical galaxy type background. Like her hair could be a normal hairpiece. It's sort of, her hair's like that, sort of reminds me of the Elektra. We got the white Elektra in that 3-pack where it's just a big, but that was really nicely sculpted and really nicely done by Hasbro. So there's no reason they couldn't do another big hairpiece for Wanda. And again, the dress is off the shoulder. It's not revealing too much, so it's not something that Hasbro would shy away from. Again, the design on the thighs here would be quite simply to do with a decal. Yeah, I reckon this one is very doable in Legends form for sure, and I can see why you put it on the list so high. That headpiece could be like a separate plastic piece, like a crown sort of thing anyway, that just sort of goes under the chin. So I reckon they could do that. But yeah, she looks good, looks very good. And like you said, Wanda's a big character these days, and we do need more representation in comic form at least for our Marvel Legends collection. So again, maybe a Hellfire Gala version. Who knows? Who knows? But like you said, it's very similar to what she's wearing anyway, so they could mix it up. So let me zoom out of that one a little bit. Let's go into the next one. So this is what I was talking about earlier, Rich. Emma Frost could have a box set of character designs, and you have sort of put that on a plate for me here, as you've given us 3 different looks for Emma Frost in one. Now, I doubt very much they're going to pack 3 figures into a little box like this. But again, we're daydreaming, people. We're daydreaming. Explain to me what's going on here, Rich. Is she just so fancy, just changes her outfit throughout the evening here as the host of the event?
Yeah, so this is year 1 Emma is obviously, she wants to make a big event of it. So she changes her outfit 3 times. And technically, you could get 6 figures of this look, because she's obviously got like a diamond form, and she's also got like a flesh look as well. So you could technically get 6 figures out of this. Yeah, you could, and then you could do like a mainstream release, and then do like a Pulse exclusive diamond only Emma
little chase version. Yeah, variant back in the day. I would take a modern Diamond Emma Frost though, just in any form at this point. But yeah, which is your favourite out of these 3?
Probably the one on the right, I think, because I think that's the one that was like used more often. I think like the middle one is just kind of like this big puffy shawl, and then she takes that off, and like she's got her other costumes on underneath there, and that headpiece is a bit too fancy on the middle one, I think. I think like the one on the left is going to be fancy, whatever, but I think that's more doable. But I think of them all,
the middle one, it's like she's shaved a polar bear, ripped an X in it, got naked and just threw it on her, and just give herself a little crown. It's just polar bear skin with a bit of boobage. I actually like the one on the left. Looks. I think
that's the most easiest one.
Yeah, it looks elegant, doesn't it?
I think that's the easiest one they could do as well. Although it is like beaded, like diamond strips going on, so that might be a bit hard. It might just be like one piece sculpted plastic type of thing. Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of, her hair is like more like a slicked back, kind of like stylized look for Emma. But I think that one you would have to do in a diamond look.
Let me ask the chat while we're on this one. So chat, right, again, just play along with us. If Hasbro were to make one of these looks from Emma, again, this is Hellfire Gala Year 1 Emma Frost. It's her event. She wanted to make a big deal of it. Which look would you want in figure form? Okay, left, middle, or right? Left, middle, or right? Let's see what the chat say. I would make a poll, but it'll be too long. There's no need. You can just type left, middle, or right. All right, I'll read a couple out. Jay Darkside says left. Stephen says, "Hey Jamie." Hi Jamie, from Stephen. I'll just be the middleman. Jamie, Stephen says hi. Hello. How you doing? And how you doing, Stephen? I'm here as well. So's Rich. Give Stephen a wave for it. I'm only joking.
Hello, Stephen.
Stephen's a good guy. It's all good. Angel Split says Hellfire Gala. Hepzibah. Did Hepzibah go to the Hellfire Gala?
She did not. She wasn't invited.
Was
no
she
cats allowed,
shaved?
apparently.
Was she shaved and turned into a costume by Emma Frost in year 1?
I hope not, Dan. I hope that's not how she appeared at the Hellfire Gala.
This is Hepzibah. I'm wearing a... Who are you wearing? Who are you wearing? Oh, I'm wearing Hepzibah from the Starjumper. Okay, so what are people saying? David Emma Smith says Diamond Strands is my favourite on the left. Stephen says left. Frobber Frets says bottom left. J Sauce says left. Mikey Moonboot says white. Wakanda says left. Cap Live says I'm most familiar with the left. Christopher Allen says right. Paul McCarthy says right. Jay says middle. Jamie says hey Steve. Steve, Jamie said hi. All right, hello.
Hi Steve. Hi Steve.
From Jamie. Shane Suter says that diamond look on the left is the diamond look on the left is the diamond. Is the one diamond. Tac says middle has been clothes shopping with Lady Gaga or Bjork. It's all so quiet. Shh. Pixels and Plastic says Emma from Hellfire 2023 is a good look. Kevin says right. Pixels and Plastic says left. So it gets a bit of a mix there. It's a bit of a mix. People like all of them, and again, that's fine. They're all good. Again, Emma Frost 3-pack. It could be like an Emma Frost Hellfire Gala year 1 3-pack with all 3 of her looks. Again, we are definitely daydreaming. Hasbro ain't doing this, but we can.
I think if they did that, it would be like a con exclusive. I can't see it being like a wide. I don't think it would be even like an Entertainment Earth fan channel release. I think it would just be like one and done type of thing.
And any glue exclusive. An Eskimo exclusive? No, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, next up. So this is your 1. This is Rich's number 1. Okay, so if you've been counting, this is our number 1. If Rich was putting some money on which Hellfire Gala costume design Hasbro would be more likely to do, he has went with Jean Grey. Rich, tell him why.
So this is year 1 Jean Grey, designed by Russell Dauterman, and like I said earlier, like in the first year, her and Cyclops put together this first team of X-Men. And I think of everyone in the House of X era, the first year and a half of House of X, Jean is in that Marvel girl green skirt costume. It's fucking awful. An awful costume.
Also, and awful figure as well, because she can't fucking stand.
Awful figure. Yeah. And I thought there was going to be a reason for like something like Professor X's mind control, or she'd been like wiped back into like her teenage self or something like that. Never explained it. Never explained why she was running around in the year 2020, 2021 in this fucking god-awful costume.
I thought all characters could just wear any costume that they've ever worn before now. I thought it was just...
They could, but no one else chose their original X. Like Cyclops were running around in his like yellow and blue. Yeah. Iceman didn't look like a bloody snow cone. Only Jean got stuck with that bloody awful costume. So this costume by Russell Dauterman, which I think like it pays tribute to a lot of Jean looks. It pays tribute to like the Jim Lee look. It's got the colors of like the Phoenix. And it looks amazing. And again, this is a look as well that after the Hellfire Gala, they then used in the X-Men comic book. It got adapted. So it lost, like the fancy gold headpiece disappeared. The train on the back went away. She lost like her cape a bit. And then this became her main costume. And it is a great looking costume. I just think it's a good look for Jean. I think Jean's been lumbered with some bad looks over the years.
And
but
bad
this is
Marvel Legends.
Bad Marvel Legends, yeah. And this one would be an easy one for them to adapt. I think of all the designs, I think this one by Russell Dauterman is just superb because I think it's not overly fancy and it works as both like a ball gown and also like an ongoing uniform for Jean to wear, and that's what happened. And then she comes with like a Hellfire Gala invitation and a champagne flute as well because, you know, you need a little drink to know.
Of course you do. You're going to an event. That'd be some great accessories. Yeah, cheers, everyone. Cheers. So I reckon Hasbro could do this one, and like again, I know people ain't the biggest fan of like plastic capes and stuff, but they could give us one of those plastic capes that plug into the back, so you could unplug it, so you could have either look if you wanted to. Of course, people could make their own soft goods anyway. And yeah, when it comes to just Jean Grey, she's an A-tier X-Men character that has been done dirty when it comes to Marvel Legends. Like, the Legends team have attempted to do Jean in recent time a couple of times, and never really get a good version of Jean. Like, there's always something off. Whether, like Rich said, the House of X one, yes, it's an accurate costume design, but because of that pencil skirt and her shitty jelly legs, like, you can't get her to stand. So she's always like just toppling and leaning on people. Before that, it was the VHS version, and the VHS version was just a repaint of the 3-pack version, the Love Triangle 3-pack, that again has the jelly legs, wrong colour hair. It's just yeah, Jean Grey deserves a bit of love. So why not do this more modern costume that was inspired from her outfit from the Hellfire Gala Year 1. So yeah, I reckon this would fit. And again, like you said, it's got elements of the Phoenix in there as well. Still got the X across the chest as well. A little bit of gold on the green. The gold and green, like I said with Doctor Doom, just works, doesn't it? The gold and green. So, and the red hair just stands out a lot against that too. So I'm with you. She's great. So again, just for the sake of a fun conversation here, Rich, you've given us 10, right? 10 choices here. Emma Frost, Jean Grey, Scarlet Witch, Cyclops, another Emma Frost, Spider-Man, Storm, Colossus, Doctor Doom, and Captain Britain, okay? So let's just...
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. Because she's wearing a British-style outfit, that's why. Genuinely, my brain went to Captain Britain then. Weird. Anyway, right. 10 figures there. Let's just make a Hellfire Gala wave based off what you've given us, okay? So let's think like Hasbro, okay? I know that's not great, but let's try and think like Hasbro. How would Hasbro do it, right? So let's say Jean's your number 1, so Jean's in there. So Jean's usually paired with Cyclops, okay? So out of the 6, shall we say Jean and Cyclops, they're in the wave. They're in. Yeah?
Yeah.
You can't.
If it's a wave. If it's a wave.
We're just fantasy. It's just a fantasy wave based off the 10 suggestions you've gave us today. Not what we want, not what we think is going to happen, just for the sake of the conversation, all right? So we got Jean Grey and Cyclops. You can't do a Hellfire Gala themed wave without giving us at least one Emma Frost. So I'm going to say, give us this look for Emma. Year 2 Emma, yeah?
Yeah.
So we've got Jean Grey, Year 2 Emma Frost, and Cyclops. So we're going to have to throw another male in there, okay, to balance it out. So let's throw a Spider-Man in the wave as well, because Hasbro will love that. If we went to the boardroom now and said, look, we've got an X-Men wave with Spider-Man in, their minds would be blown, Rich. Their minds would be blown. They'd be all over that. All right, so we've got Spider-Man, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Emma Frost. So who else you putting in there?
I think Scarlet Witch would be the one as well, just because that costume is a modern day costume as well.
Hasbro wouldn't do 3 females in a wave. What are you talking about? Okay, we're daydreaming. Let's pretend they are. They've woken up. They're woke now. They've gave us a Scarlet Witch in the wave. Okay, so that's Scarlet Witch, Jean Grey, Emma Frost, not Colossus, Cyclops, Spider-Man. We need one more, so we've got to throw one more male in there. Who
Doctor
else
Doom, I'd say.
Doom.
Chuck Doctor Doom in. Because then you've got 3 like Avengers, non-X-Men.
Not Colossus cosplaying as Dan Who in black and white, no.
He can be the Build-A-Figure, look.
There you go.
You need to be henching-y. There you go.
Yeah, it's sorted, done. This would make an epic figure. Like, I don't care what the source material is for this version of Doom. Like, you cannot deny this executed properly would look epic on a display for sure, with some Doom bots and stuff around him or whatever. Like, just he's in charge of the Latveria. Like, this very regal as Doctor Doom should be. Yeah, looks good. J-Side says Storm should have been in there. No disputing it at all. Again, I was just trying to think like Hasbro would think. Like, of course, Hasbro are never going to take an opportunity to throw a Spider-Man in a wave. I'm not saying I would want the Spider-man in the wave, but I do actually like that Spider-Man design.
I do think, though, if Hasbro did do a wave, it would be all Year 1 characters, because I think that would be like the one they've had the most time to do.
Yeah.
But I don't think that, because this hint doesn't say it's a wave. I think if it is a Hellfire thing, I don't think it's a wave. I think it's either like one figure or a box. I think if it's one figure, it's like something, like they used to do with the Walgreens exclusive, where you'd have like 4 over the year.
Yeah.
We'd get like 4 single releases over the year, or I could see it being like a box set. So if it is like a Year 1 box set, if it's 2 figures, I'd say it would be Jean and Cyclops. If it's 3, I'd say Jean, Cyclops, and Emma. That's how I think they do it.
No, I think if you're gonna do a Hellfire Gala range figure box set, whatever, you got to throw Emma Frost in there. Like, she's like the main main highlight, isn't it? She arranged it. It's her event, like, so I think Emma Frost would have to be in some form. But let's just go back to the clue. If you're late into the stream today, the reason we're talking about Hellfire Gala is because me and Rich are digging way too deep into this clue from Entertainment Earth for the sake of conversation, all right? The clue, to be honest, quite honest with people, it says suit up. It's probably an Iron Man retro card, let's be honest. However,
go and watch last week's stream where we covered that already.
Yeah, we'd already talked about Iron Man. We did a whole stream talking about the Iron Man retro cards and what could potentially be in an Iron Man card retro wave. We've done that already. Go and watch last week's stream. It's on the playlist. Put it on in the background. So we didn't want to do Iron Man again, all right, based off this hint. We wanted to dig a little bit deeper, and Rich put those clues together. Out of This World because of Mars, the Night Out, obviously, Hellfire Gala, and the suit up because everyone dresses up for the Hellfire Gala. So again, we are digging way too deep into this clue, but we will find out on the 15th of December what it actually is, and was any of these right. And again, I'd be very curious, whatever one of these is done, wouldn't be... Hasbro couldn't do it cheap, if you know what I mean. There'd have to be new tooling. It'd have to be some effort involved. There's no easy repaints here. Looking at any of these costume designs, there isn't. I'm not, apart from maybe Spider-Man.
I'd say Spider-Man and Cyclops are the two they could. So that's why I think they would be likely if it was a wave, because they could do those like easily. I think out of all the looks, and I think even the Jean without the cape bit on the back, that's not too much of a stretch to do. So that's why I think like those three would be quite likely type of thing.
Yeah, just looking at the chat again, Robert Falcon in the chat again. He's not wrong. And by the way, me and Richard, we're choosing to ignore the obvious here for the sake of conversation. So like, we get it, we completely get it, but it'd be too easy to do that. We like, me and Rich, right? There's so many leak lists out there. Me and Rich could just sit and just talk through the leaks. And that'd be that. What's that? One stream where we just talk about the leaks and we move on? What a great conversation that was. We like to just go down these rabbit holes and just dig a little deeper. Me and Rich know we're off the trail sometimes. We know we are. But again, it's for the sake of conversation. So, and
we made this whole thing fit that bloody 3-sentence clue.
Yeah.
So fuck you all.
Yeah, come on now. With a bit of effort going into these streams. We're not just sat here reading leak lists or fucking Facebook groups or fucking Reddit. We could do that as well, but we don't want to. We want to put a little bit of effort into these streams and just talk about stuff that we haven't talked about before. So yeah, Robert obviously is alluding to the suited up, obviously refers to the classic Wolverine 8 cover with the Hulk and Wolverine in white tuxedos. And we've all seen these leak lists. We're not naive. The white tuxedo Wolverine and Joe Fixit are on there. I would like that to happen. Of course it would. But again, it's more fun to just dig a little deeper, right?
And if you're like sitting there thinking, I don't even know these leak lists, what they're about, go and watch David Display's Model Behaviour and Rectangular. Yeah. We both cover these in like massive detail. With the first ones we did there. And then everyone else just copies then what they have done. So go and watch the originals if you want to go and see it.
Completely right. Look, again, David Display's Model Behaviour did the list. And Rectangular is the guy for leaks, right? That's his gimmick. Again, I'm a fan of Rectangular. I don't want to step on his toes. So I'm not just going to regurgitate anyone else's like information, okay? That they got their information from wherever they got it, that's theirs. Me and Rich like to do it a different way. We just like to have a fun conversation about this and just dig a little deeper. And like, yeah, sometimes we know we're well off the scent. We know we are. But it's fun to just discuss. Like, I genuinely just enjoy... Again, I learned so much from Rich. I'm not reading comics at the minute. So like, a lot of this stuff I'm learning through Rich, and it makes me want to go and read a little bit more and learn a little bit more about these new designs and where they've come from. I've said it multiple times on the stream, I love learning about things via the medium of action figures, and hopefully that's what you guys are doing today. Like, I assume there's a few people out there watching this stream that don't even know what the Hellfire Gala is, but maybe this stream has inspired you to at least give it a little Google and have a little look, and you'll see what we're talking about. And that's all we want. We just want to start a fun conversation. So yeah, like, again, Robert, again, I'm not dissing Robert by any means. He's just pointing out the obvious, which is all fair and game. I just want you to know me and Rich are not avoiding the obvious. We're very aware. We just like to have a conversation that goes in a different direction. That's all. And to follow that, we're going to talk about now some X-Men from the House of X. So obviously we know not a lot of people are familiar with the Hellfire Gala, and again, myself included, I'm familiar with it, but I don't know it in as much detail as Rich. I've just seen all these costume designs and cosplayers, etc. And some of them would make some epic figures.
The first, if you're in the UK, the first omnibus is in the Black Friday sale on Amazon. So if you're looking for a copy, you should get one there. Or go down to your local comic book stores. And year 2 is collected in this trade paperback. Hellfire, Gala, Immortal. And I think year 3 is coming out, I think, probably the next couple of months. But yeah, the year 2 is much more contained than year 1. Year 1 is like this big story that goes through, like, it's like a classic crossover that goes through like every X title. But yeah, definitely give them a read.
Absolutely. And just to... all right, let me just get this cover of Wolverine up. So, because people in the chat are probably talking about what's he talking about. You'll know the cover when I throw it on screen. It's a very popular cover. To be fair, it's the version of Joe Fixer I want in my collection. I've avoided buying the recent, the deluxe one that's out at the minute. If there's a decent Black Friday sale, I might get it. But this is the version I'm sort of holding out hope for. So obviously in the chat, this is what Robert is alluding to, the Wolverine 8 cover. Now again, the clue right here on Entertainment Earth saying suited up could absolutely be referring to that. Absolutely. Quite simply, that's what it's referring to. We already know we're getting Wolverine figures for his anniversary, so it could be the pre-order for this 2-pack. Of course it could. But that would take me and Rich 10 minutes to talk about, and then we'd have an hour of a show to do, okay? So just indulge us where we dig a little deeper, all right? It's fun. It's meant to be fun. Read your comics, says Caplibs. Yes, absolutely. Chi Collects also says, Furry Women Wave in 2024. Hepzibah. Hepzibah is someone we are now going to be championing until it actually happens. To be fair, Rich gets pretty lucky. He championed Monet happened. Who else? Tigra? Is that had a couple of releases since then? So
or did I know they were both coming the year before, Dan? Is that what happened, maybe?
Well, I hope Hepzibah's on that same wavelength. And also, just to update everybody who's paying attention, I caught the fly and killed the fucker. It's a dead fly. I got it.
Peter, after you now, Dan, you're on a list.
That's what it gets for being an intruder in my home. No sympathy. You're an intruder in my home. You're getting squashed. He's a dead man now. Now I've got to look at a dead fly on my fucking table before the end of the stream. Great, fun times. Let's just not breathe it in, I'll be fine. It started with a click. Shelley says, Dan, the code isn't working. Says your order does not meet requirement. I'm ordering a t-shirt. Oh no, Shelley! I will look into that, Shelley. I'm live right now, so annoyingly I can't look into it right now. But I have absolutely set that code up, so there's no reason why it shouldn't be working. I think maybe my discount is too big for the site. If it was up to me, I'd just be like 90% off, but because I don't make any money from the t-shirts, it's all just the t-shirt website. So maybe the t-shirt, like, fuck you. Try Hellfire. Try that code Hellfire. All capital letters, Hellfire. See what comes up with that one. But if not, don't rush to it, Shelley, and I'll have a look after the stream. But I appreciate you, Shelley. Thank you so much. You will look great in a Dan Who t-shirt. That's for sure. Right, so what I was going to is we have not stopped talking about X-Men, was my point. We are going to continue that conversation. So when the Sentinel came out, we got a wave of... we got the Tri-Sentinel Build-A-Figure wave, which was a wave of like A-tier X-Men characters to accompany the Sentinel that year. So that was 2021 now at that point, wasn't it, Rich? Like,
yeah.
So it's, again, time fucking flies. We're nearly in 2024. So there has been a decent amount of time now for Hasbro to maybe give us some more characters from that House of X story. Because House of X is a prelude to all this Hellfire Gala stuff, right?
Yeah, so the Krakoan Age is still going on. It's gone on since 2019. So, like, we've had nearly, like, 5 years of it. It is coming to an end.
Have they announced that? Have they officially said?
Yeah. So, next year, starting in January, is Fall of the House of X and Rise of the Powers of 10, I think, are starting next year. So, they, like, mini-series wrapping it up.
Integrating the X-Men back into, like, the regular world without them being off on their own little planet and stuff.
Well, they haven't said officially, but there's a new Tom Brevoort, who is like the Avengers editor, long-time Avengers editor. He's moving on to the X-Men book starting from next summer. And then he said he's going to bring in all new creative teams. So it looks like a brand new direction for the X-Men. So I'm it's not to say that what's happened in the Crone era isn't going to stand, because it tends to like carry on. But I imagine it's going to be, they're not going to be on Krakoa anymore. I imagine at least some teams will be back in the school, and I imagine it'll take like different looks. There'll probably be different titles, different rosters, different artists, different writers coming in. So it is like, if you like the House of X. And I think it's been, I really enjoyed it. I think of all the Xbox, because there was a time, I think a lot of people say, oh, after astonishing X-Men, it was the X-Men just like faltered. But there have been good runs. Like Mike Carey's run has been like, was amazing. There was bits and bobs here and there that I've loved of the X-Men. Like, I'm an X-Men fan, so I've always find things that I like. But I think House of X as a whole has been perhaps the, like, since the 90s has been where I've been like reading every book. There are books that I don't like I didn't like the Excalibur, the magic stuff, but as a whole, it's been good times for the X-Men. It's been like this big interconnected thing where things happen in one title affect another one. So again, sometimes to people, you can get lost with that, because if you're not reading one book, you don't know what's going on. But then that's, to me, what 90s comics were like. It was like, you know, there was no Google, there was no Wikipedia. You read one book, something happened to someone else, and then you went on and tracked that issue down and read it. So I like that kind of thing. I know other people are not so much a fan of it. Again, there's lots of text pieces. It's quite wordy. Stuff happens online in like exclusive comic books that people can't read. So there's criticism to it. But as a whole, I've enjoyed this era, and I'm excited to see how it ends and see what happens next as well.
I've seen positive praise for it online, especially House of X. Like, again, like you said, some people said it was wordy, but there was storytelling a little bit deeper, I suppose. My biggest comic reading phase as an adult was in the 2010s, and I always avoided X-Men because of the reason you said. Like, one, you can't buy every comic, and it was hard for me to jump on at, do you know, because there wasn't really, I know they went through a phase of restarting everything all the time and reissuing the numbers, but when I was first getting on, there was no starting point, so I just went to my favourite characters like Spider-Man obviously, and Iron Man, Avengers, and X-Men. I think I did buy an issue of the X-Men main story at the time, but I had no idea who anyone was or what they were doing. So like, it put me off, like, because for the reason you said, that you need to put the pieces together. But if you do have all of those pieces, you enjoy it. It's more rewarding, isn't it? When you go, it's like the MCU. When you watch the whole MCU, you get all those little Easter eggs and nuggets every film that comes out. But you can still enjoy every chapter on their own, I guess, apart from Captain Marvel, I suppose, at the minute. I'm just speaking for the general public, not for me. I didn't mind it.
And I think for a starting point of the modern era, I think that House of X, Powers of X, that collection, it kind of sets everything up. So I think you can read that as like a complete story. It sets up why the X-Men have gone back to Krakoa, why this immortality happens. And it's a lot of things then branch off from there. Like if you like certain bits of it, you can go and read like X-Men or X-Force or Excalibur, depending on what characters and what happens there you like. And I've liked with this era that the characters who maybe are not like mainstream, not part of like the X-Men movies or the animated series, have been given the spotlight. And then I think that's what this list that we've got of 5 like characters missing. A lot of these are long time characters. There's one new character on there, but I think a lot of these have never had a figure before, and they would be great Marvel Legends. I think a lot of them have looks that are like timeless. They've never changed their looks as well. So we'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah, well, let's get into it right now, all right? So again, we've got 5 characters that would pair up nicely with the House of X figures we got. Characters that maybe are a little bit lesser known than, because let's be honest, that wave was full of heavy hitters: Jean Grey, Cyclops, Wolverine, Press-Rex, Magneto. So it's hard.
Omega Sentinel.
Omega Sentinel, of course. How could I forget? And
Moira.
Like, to be fair, I liked her because she had the multiple looks for the reincarnation and stuff. So I did like that wave. For the record, I did like that wave. So it was harder for these lesser known characters, I suppose, to the wider population to get in the wave. So so again, explain to the people as we go through here, Rich, why each one of these deserves their place in the Marvel Legend lineup for the House of X. Starting here with Rasputin, not 5, 4, if I read my Roman numerals correct.
This is Rasputin 4, looking very much like Colossus, and obviously with the name Rasputin as well. So she is part of the future X-Men. She first shows up in Powers of X. So when House of X starts, House of X is kind of like the modern day era book, and Powers of X is like the X-Men in the future, and then they all tie together in the end due to Moira and her reincarnation powers. But Rasputin 4 is like this future mutant who's a chimera. So basically, Mr. Sinister engineers mutants to have like powers of all mutants mixed together to make them like these kind of like super mutants type of thing. So with Rasputin 4, she's obviously got the metal skin from Colossus, then she's got telepathy from Quentin Quire. She's got force field.
It looks like Magic's
Yeah,
arm.
she's got magic. She's got Magic's sword as well. She's got the force fields from Eunice the Untouchable. She's got Kitty Pryde's intangibility. And then she's got X-23's healing factor as well. So she, like, Mr. Sinister makes her to be like the perfect mutant. He's like a prized possession type of thing. So she is like one of the last X-Men standing in Powers of X. And then she disappears then, because obviously it goes back from the future to modern times. But then during the Sins of Sinister, there's an alternate timeline where another version who's not that same version of Rasputin 4, but is more or less the same. She comes into it, and now she's in the modern era as well. So again, she's kind of like this new. She's on the current X-Men team. She's like this person from the future who looked up to all these, like, these people are heroes, and now she's like working with them. And she's a very cool looking character, because obviously she's got all these different bits from all the different X-Men. She's kind of like Colossus, but a female, and she's got a soul sword. She's got a very X-Men looking uniform as well, and she's just a great looking character.
Very toyetic as well is the word that I would go with. Like, in figure form, I think she would look very, very good. Come with some good accessories, well, magic sword, and like they do Colossus very well. So it's like a female Colossus, ain't she, in an X outfit? So very toyetic. I think she'd look great. People in the chat as well. Chi collects his hit. J Dark says is wild. Capliv says Sins of Sinister was dope from what I've gathered. Hero Collections jumps in and goes Savage Land Professor X X-Men Evolution. Look, we're the ones that got to worry. He can make this shit happen now. We're worried. Okay, so Rasputin is where we're going to start. I'm just conscious of time, so we're going to jump through these. Next up, Cinch.
Sync. Like NSYNC.
Now I'll never forget.
There you go.
Now I will never forget.
So Sync's powers basically is that he can get in sync with any other mutant about him. So he is part of the original Generation X, and he dies in Generation X. He is one of the only member of Generation X who dies. So obviously, when Krakoa starts resurrecting mutants, they resurrect Sync, and then he becomes one of the most powerful mutants in the X-Men, because obviously he starts like getting in with everyone, like syncing with their powers, and he gets trapped in this like vault. The children of the vault are like these like engineered beings, like beyond mutants, and him, X-23 and Laura go on a mission into there, and he's the only one that escapes. And so he's like aged up, he escapes, and then they put him back, they resurrect him into his body, but he's still got all his memories, whereas X-23 and Darwin, they've died, so they don't get their memories back. They get their memories back from before. It's a really great storyline. I think Sync is such a great character from Generation X. I love him in his Generation X look, but I think Jerry Duggan in the X-Men run, he's been like, apart from Jean and Cyclops, he's been like the one constant member through all iterations. He's been on every year of the team, and I think they've done a really good job of building this character up, who was kind of like disappeared for like 7 years. So it's just a really great character, and I would love a Sync figure to put next to my Monet Sequoia and Chamber.
The chat agree with you on this one. Cap lives says Sync, yes. Sync, yes. So does Paul McCartney. JC says yes. I really want him in his Gen X costume. Rich would take everyone in their Gen X.
Yeah.
So would we, to be fair. There's still a retro card for Gen X that we haven't had,
and it's
recreated.
Generation X's anniversary year next year as well. They could do the anniversary line could be Generation X.
Come on now. We wouldn't be mad at that one. Catlib says need a new Laura Kenny to go with him. Chi Collects says big hit. Craig says hit as well. Kev Collectible says this might be a stretch. We're probably overthinking this. It will be the Iron Man retro wave. Kev, you're late to the party, mate. We've already explained all this. I'm not repeating myself. I've explained our thinking. Don't worry. We're with you, mate. We're with you. So, yeah, people looking good in this one. Right, let's keep going through. Cypher.
So, yeah, this is another character that we have never had in action figure form. Douglas Ramsey, part of the New Mutants. In House of X, he is the one who can communicate with Krakoa. So he communicates with the island, and he's also on his arm. He's got Warlock hidden away, the techno-organic alien. This is a great look for Cypher. Looks really good. And yeah, we've never had a Cypher figure, so why not do him in his yellow jacket And underneath, he's got his like New Mutants costume, just a great looking figure. You could give him his Warlock sword that he had in Exodus Swords. Give him a tree in the background, make him a deluxe figure with Krakoa, and you can talk to him in the background.
People would love the Krakoan gate, though. Do you know if a figure came with like how we got the Doctor Strange portal, didn't we? If they gave us a figure.
Yeah, with that Doctor Doom, like I think I did a mock-up before with Cypher, it would be pretty easy to turn that into a Krakoan gate. Just like paint it brown, put some little red portals on it, and away you go.
All right, people would like that, I think. And like you said, Sync hasn't had a figure before as well, right?
None of all of these, none of these have had legend figures. Sync had, I think, of all the list, Sync had a figure in the Toy Biz. He was a toy fair mail away.
Yeah, not Legends days is where I'm going.
But never a legend.
And again, I think Rasputin obviously is easily doable, very toyetic, but especially Sync and Cypher, 100% doable in the Legends era, like 100%. So yeah, likely. Next up, now this is a character that people mention a lot. People have even mentioned it in the chat at the start of Just Stream. It is Exodus, but this is a slightly modern costume design for Exodus, right?
Yeah, it's a bit modern, but to be fair, Exodus's look is kind of the same wherever it is. Like sometimes his cape gets a bit more fancy and ornate, but it tends to be the same kind of like color scheme, the same kind of look, and the same powers. Like Exodus is like this zealot who like wants the mutant race to succeed. Like he looked up to Magneto, like that he was part of the Acolytes, and then he took over the Acolytes when Magneto was like brain dumped by Xavier in Fatal Attraction. But yeah, that's his classic look. So it's not too much different from his more modern look. But since Krakoa has begun, he's been sitting on the Quiet Council, which is like these the 12 X-Men who kind of run Krakoa and decide of everything that's going on. And then in Immortal X-Men from Kieran Gillen, he's kind of like been pushed more to the center stage. He's had a far bigger role since Fall of X. He's been taken, like he's currently trapped with Hope and Destiny in somewhere else, and stuff is going on with them. But yeah, he's a great character. He's a classic 90s X-villain who's never had a legend. He had a Toy Biz figure in the X-Force line, and that was it. He's never had nothing since. And he'd be a really great figure, whether it's his classic look or modern look. I think both kind of like work, whatever. So it would be a great figure to get.
People in the chat, first of all, were enjoying your Generation X selections, just showing the world that people would want Generation X figures. In case we have any lurkers in the background, Generation X would be welcomed in their Marvel Legends line for sure. We got a couple this year, to be fair, so maybe 2024 they give us a couple more too. And then it comes to Exodus, which is a character, again, people mention all the time, can also sort of be pushed into an Avengers display, which has been alluded to down there in the chat as well. Jay Shaw says he's way overdue.
Yeah.
Shane Shooter mentions that Marvel Girl came with the X-Mansion gate. We know, we've talked about it. Rich has got half of it. He's still looking for the other half. I found it on eBay once really cheap, sent the link to Rich, and before I even had a conversation with him, he'd brought it. So yeah, Rich has half the gate and he's missing the other half. So if anyone has the other half, let Rich know. But
hit me out.
Yeah, but again, Krakoan gate or the X-Mansion gate, I think would be welcomed in the Legends line for sure. And if they can do the portal, they can do that. Surely they can. But yeah, Exodus, Paul says yes. Shane Shooter says wants a classic Exodus. And again, that's why I pulled up this costume design, because you might not be able to see it from that picture, but it's that character. That's the design people want in figure form. And I do think Hasbro will get there. I do. Is 2024 going to be the year? We'll have to wait and see. But I do think he's one of those big villains now that is just inevitable at this point. Because there's a certain tier of villains that they've done everyone. And he's just one that's lingering. There's him, and there's also Nemesis. I guess they changed its name from Holocaust, didn't they, to Nemesis? So
yeah.
I think people like them are gotta be next in line. Now we've got everyone out the way.
I think as well, the Acolytes, they've never done any. Are there any figures in their Acolyte look? Like if you do Colossus in his Acolyte look, Fabian Cortez, Frenzy, Scanner, Vogt. There's Amelia Vogt, who was in the animated cartoon. There's like a whole team you could build there with the Acolytes that hasn't even been started. And I think in the 90s, they were the big bad team, so they would be really good to get. And Exodus would be a good start for that team.
Truby1 says, Lurkin is the best. We appreciate all our lurkers. We do appreciate it. We know yous are there. We see the number there. So we know you're lurking. It's fine. It's fine. Craig says Exodus, but in his classic look. Sorry, don't apologise, my friend. You can have any look you want. Okay, so there's 4. We've got 1 more left. And if you were listening carefully, Rich has already mentioned the character that is left on the list. It is Destiny. Now, this is going to be a character that we mention a lot until it happens, because she's a character that needs to happen sooner rather than later. They're like, out of all these old school characters, Destiny's there. Her story's being sort of she's been brought into the spotlight a little bit, because I didn't even know she'd went young again, Rich. You informed me of that not long ago, that she's now a young, beautiful woman underneath that mask. So maybe they could give us a version with young head, old woman head. Anyway, I digress. Rich, why do we deserve Destiny?
So Destiny, of everyone on this list, obviously Destiny has one look. It's this look, whether she is in the past with the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants or resurrected. The only thing that's changed is under the mask. So like Dan said, you can have the helmeted head, a young head, and an old head, and you've got all Destiny's look in one. But Destiny is a much wanted villain, or hero as she is now, or anti-hero, because she completes that original Brotherhood, well, not the original, but Mystique's team of Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And then in House of X, considering Marvel are pushing modern day characters more and more, like Destiny is front and center in the House of X. Again, she's on the Quiet Council. She's with Mystique. They uncovered Moira's plot in Inferno. She came back, all guns blazing. She's been part of the Immortal X-Men title, like scheming with Mystique, and she is front and center as Fall of X is happening now as well. Just a great character, a great design, and you can't go wrong this one, because like Craig was like classic look. Well, Destiny only has one look, really, so you can't muck it up, really.
That's why it's got to be doable. I'm just looking for a Brotherhood of Evil Mutants group shot so I can show you. But yeah, she's one that's like, it's just needed now. Like, it's just no messing around. It's like, make it happen, please. Here's a picture of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and like Rich says, like if you wear. It doesn't matter if you give us an old... Well, I'm throwing it on the wrong screen. It doesn't matter if you give us an old look, because it's the same costume design that you could fit anywhere in your display that you wanted to. So you could have it as a House of X version. Again, I don't see them doing it, but I would love to give us maybe not so much the old woman head, but maybe give us the young woman head to represent the modern era, and then keep the helmeted head to represent any era you want. But looking at the 2 pictures there, we got a modernish picture and a classic picture. The costume's the same. It's the same. It's the blue sort of one piece with the blue cape, the helmet of the gold mask. Very, very doable in the Marvel Legends line, and a character that I think's absolutely needed, regardless of which version you want, which era you prefer, wherever you will put her in your display. She will always be wearing this look, and it has to be happening this year. Has to be a 2024 figure, right? Has to be.
Yeah, of anyone on this list, I think she's like the most wanted. Like, she appears on like a top 10 lists here, there, and everywhere, and she has done for a couple of years now. And I think House of X, with Marvel pushing more modern storytelling, like, well, Destiny's front and center of the X-Men again. It's not like a character from the 80s and 90s who's died and would never be seen again. She's there. So I just think she would be a great character to have. Put it in a 2-pack. With like an updated Mystique as well.
Double jointed elbows, Mystique, please. All the Mystiques we've got are jelly legged, single jointed. Let's get a nicely updated double jointed elbows Mystique. The only Mystique we've got, I think, is the Walgreens exclusive, and then it was repainted in the VHS line. So yeah, that was the same old crappy figure. So I think Mystique is a big enough X-Men character to worthy a re-release with the updates that we would appreciate. And then just as a little bonus, you throw in Destiny in there as well, so people don't feel too bad about having to get the upgrade, because there's a character there that nobody has. And again, we've got Blob, a great Blob. Blob may end up being the best Marvel Legend of 2023 when it's all said and done. We've got Spyro and Avalanche not long ago as well. So yeah, I obviously we need Destiny more so than a new Mystique, but a new Mystique would be very welcome as well. So yeah, another solid list. I do think Destiny and Exodus, out of them, are got to be high potential. And then obviously Generation X, like you said, the anniversary and that retro card not being done yet is got to Got to be likely soon. Just a quick question for the chat before we go. 5 characters here. We've got the Rasputin, Sync, Cypher, Exodus, and Destiny. If just one of them was being made, which one do you want to be made? Let me know, and I'll read a couple out before we leave here today. Destiny, Exodus, Cypher, Sync, and Rasputin. Rich, I know it's a hard question, but for you, while the chat are telling me which one they want, which one of these do you want the most in your collection?
You know which one I want the most. Is Sync every time, isn't it? I wouldn't want anyone but Sync. In Generation X, in Modern, I love Sync. Like I own the art page of Sync's death. He was like my favourite of all the Generation X boys. Not the girls, but of the boys, he was my favourite of the boys.
But I'm glad you say that, because usually you're championing a female character to be made. But it's good to hear you champion the male figure there. So that could be your little male representative. So Hepzibah and Sync for 2024, Rich would be a very happy man for sure. For me, as you should probably tell, it's Destiny, because just for me and my collections, she fits in my collection a lot better. Let me go full screen for you there, Rich, so you can show the people.
I can find it now. You grab it out.
So is this the original art you said?
Yeah, this is Steve Pugh. So this is where Sync dies. So it went up and I saw it, so I grabbed it. So there we go. That's Sync when he's killed in Generation X, with Monet cradling him in her arms and all the other Generation X kids and Banshee all crying up top. So yeah, he gets like blown up because of Emma Frost's evil sister, Adrienne. But yeah, that's the original art from Generation X issue 70, The Death of Sync.
That is so cool. You plan on framing that one day, or did you keep them all in your book?
And they're all like in like archive paper, because like I don't want the sun to like bleach them, because I spent so much money on these. Yeah. So in there they go to keep forever.
Very nice, very nice. Again, beautiful additions to the collection. Let me read a couple of these out of the chat then before we get out of here. We are doing the bonus show tonight, by the way. As always, at the end of every single Thursday stream, we do continue the conversation for a little bit longer on the Who Crew Deluxe after show, exclusively for anyone on that tier. And again, if you are a part of that tier, you can join me and Rich live on the Zoom call and chat with us. I'm sort of curious what everyone's best Black Friday sale purchase has been so far, to be completely honest. But we can also discuss X-Men. So come and join us on the Who Crew Deluxe straight after this one. The link is in the description, but I will drop it into the chat as well. And I'll also fix that link for the store, because it's annoyed me it's not working. It should absolutely be working. But there you go. So we'll be doing that in a minute. But before we do, let me just jump to the chat and read out a couple. What do you think the chat's most popular choice is, Rich?
I reckon it's Syncs, because they all love me, so they've all gone with Sync, haven't they?
Clearly,
Destiny, I reckon.
To be fair, it's a bit of a mix, to be honest. Freedom Force would be good, says Tac. And to be fair, they could repaint Spiral Gold, and then you'd get Freedom Force, right? Curtis says Destiny. Greg says Exodus, then Rasputin. Kev Collectible says Destiny is the most needed. Definitely Destiny, says Boba Fett. Phil Jones says Rasputin. Jamie says Destiny. Wakanda says Destiny. Arvin's Destiny. Kevin's Exodus. Shelley's Destiny. Mud J Ace says Sync. CG Collects, he says Destiny or Exodus. Josh B is Exodus. Need a Toy Biz one. Need a new Toy Biz one. Is that what you're saying? I'm very confused there, Josh. Compulsive Collector says Cypher, always hoping to complete the New Mutants team. Jay says Destiny if I had to pick one. Mike Doubter says shout out to the Phalanx Covenant. Am I saying that right? The Phalanx?
The Phalanx Covenant. That was where Generation X first debuted, where they got together.
I knew I got the word right, because I know I've read it or knew it. So Destiny from Jason Lopez. Paul says tough pick, probably Destiny, but I'd like to add Warlock or Warpath to this perfect picks. Craig says Exodus, but Destiny is a close second. So yeah, good. To be fair, Destiny out of them lot probably was the most popular. So yeah, the chat don't like you, Rich, basically, what we learned from that. The chat do not like Rich M. World exclusive. So fun conversation. So again, when it is all said and done, is this clue more likely going to be, where is the clue? I'll best show you again for anyone late on the stream. So is this clue more likely going to be an Iron Man retro card, or even like Robert said, the very, very obvious Wolverine 2-pack with Joe Fixit? Yes, it probably is. It probably is. But it was still fun to have a conversation about the X-Men and some funky, fresh costume designs. Funky fresh, what am I? A hip-hop rapper from the 90s? Ridiculous, what am I talking about? Words have escaped me this evening. But you know what I'm saying. It was fun to have a conversation about stuff that we don't talk about a lot. And we've never talked about the Hellfire Gala outfits in the 168 shows we have done. That's right, 168 shows. Insane, and I ain't going anywhere yet either. So I appreciate you all today, even though I did not get one super chat today. Not one, Rich, not fucking one. It's because everyone's saving the money for Black Friday.
It's Black Friday, everyone's saving their money. You should have done a discount on super chat.
Now I can't buy anything for Black Friday because of you guys. Because of yous. How am I meant to keep the lights on in this house? All right, come on now. I'm only joking, by the way. Or am I really? No, I'm really sore about it, to be honest. But I will continue for my channel members, because I do love them, on the after show. So again, please come to the after show. Who crewed the looks tier? Those guys are supporting the channel. I appreciate it. And do you know who else supports the channel? Rich. Rich, I pressed the wrong button. There you go. Rich, please tell
just had Storm's boobs then. What were you looking at?
Shit, which button did I press? Let's go back to it. Tell the people where they can find you online.
You can find me in your Black Friday sales buying on the vodka, and then you can find me here every Thursday and on Displayed Once on Instagram. Oh, at a Girls Aloud concert. Anyone wants to come to any, hit me up. I'm planning to go to a few.
If I said to Amanda, do you want to go to Girls Aloud concert with Rich in Birmingham? She'd be like, what time? Let's go.
It's in the Resorts World Arena as well, so that's like easy.
I'll speak to her. And then I'll just pass her off to you and I'll go for some drinks at the casino. Rich can just babysit my girlfriend for the night. Give me some peace. I appreciate that. Do you want to take the dog as well?
No, you'll have to have Teddy. You'll have to walk him around the path.
I have to walk him before like 4 o'clock now because it gets so dark so early. It's ridiculous. Right, we appreciate everyone. Thank you so much. I am off to get my cosplay for my Colossus outfit that I'll be donning very soon, and then I'll be starting my own security firm. So if you want to apply for that, hit me up. But we'll be jumping.
You need to get a workout routine from Adam Moran, I think.
What are you talking about? Yeah, you're not wrong. Adam, hit me up, mate. Hit me up. And I also need a mink jacket of some sort. But we're jumping off to the after show. Follow us there. It should direct you as soon as we end the stream, but I will drop it in the chat one more time before we go. We appreciate you. Hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving. I'm grateful for all of you guys supporting the nonsense that we do on the channel. Everyone enjoy yourself, whatever you are doing, wherever you are this weekend. And we will be back next week, of course. No Legend and Liquor this weekend. So it gives me an opportunity to actually put some figures back on shelves or go to IKEA and buy more shelving. Probably that one. I'll keep you updated. I'll keep filming some vlogs. I will review figures one day again on this channel. When that day will be, who knows? It's a mystery. Maybe for the go
and watch that review. Look,
come on now, get in there. Go watch Bruce Banner. Come on, let's get Bruce Banner to 1K and make it worth the effort of doing that review. Come on now. Go and watch that Bruce Banner review and just leave the room. I don't even care if you don't watch it. Just let the adverts play, all right? I appreciate that. Right, give him a wave, Rich. We're going. Bye-bye. We'll see you on the after show. Bye-bye. Click. Oh, make sure Bruce Banner's there, actually. Click Bruce Banner. Watch the whole review. I give some very insight on this Marvel Legends suited body. It needed a full review. It was, to be fair, I should compare it to an SH Figure Arts Hulk that looks great. So go and watch it.